On the sites when I started, it was very small wooden pens, 16 metres by 16 metres. Everything was done by hand. Your nets were lifted by hand, your fish were fed by hand. The feed was moved by hand, which is a lot, and then you harvested all the fish by hand. Today, where everything's done by machines like the feed barge, the bigger cages, you can no longer lift the nets by hand, they're all done by machines. So it's a totally different job. The biggest challenge is, we have had disease issues over the way. Furunculosis was a big challenge when I first started, but once they brought in the vaccine, it died away, and it's not really been heard of much since. Sea lice is a constant challenge. Today we're in a really good place actually, because we've got 4 or 5 different ways to deal with sea lice. But our number one line of defence is cleaner fish, and we work hard and invested a lot of money in that area, and we hope it'll pay dividends going forward.
The fundamental message is we're not eating enough fish as a nation in the UK. The government recommendation is for 2 portions a week, one of which should be oily, and we currently eat just under 1 portion per week.
Oily fish are the richest source of the long-chain omega-3 fats, EPA and DHA, and we know that these can contribute to keeping our heart healthy and also contribute to the brain development of babies. National surveys show that consumption of oily fish in the UK is very low, and we're all recommended to eat at least 2 portions of fish a week as part of a healthy diet, and one of these should be an oily type like salmon, mackerel or sardines. I do eat salmon, I really like salmon. If I'm in a hurry, I'll stick it in the microwave for about a minute or a minute and a half. That's really quick and easy and it just steams. If I've got a bit longer, I'd probably bake it or perhaps shallow fry it to get the skin crispy.
Any increase in consumption must come from aquaculture or fish farming, because most of the wild stocks, the highly productive wild stocks, are already managed at the maximum sustainable yield. So we can't sustainably take any more fish from those fisheries. So if we have an increase in demand, then that must, by definition, be delivered by responsible aquaculture or fish farming.
We've opened up probably 8 new farms in what we would class as exposed locations. Everything is different, is bigger, stronger, better. But the technology is there now for us to do that. That cage there is probably about 13,000 cubic metres, so 1.7% of that pen is fish at the very max. The rest is 98.3% water.
The expansion has to be in a sustainable way, and the health and welfare of the fish is so fundamental to the success of any farm, any livestock farm. These large pens and the way they're managed, the net hygiene, the cleanliness of the nets, oxygen levels are better, water exchange is better. They have more space, they can go deeper in these big nets. These circular pens are almost designed for rough weather, and so you can go into more exposed locations where the water is perhaps, the salinity is more stable, the temperature profiles are more oceanic, and so the conditions are more appropriate for the fish, and so they just have more chance to thrive.
We try to avoid touching our fish as much as we can, and we use technology to monitor them and gauge them and sample them. 9 times out of 10 we just don't touch our fish, because if you leave them alone and just feed them and keep the environment they're in clean and tidy, then they tend to look after themselves.
All of Sainsbury's farmed Atlantic salmon is farmed on the west coast and the islands of Scotland and on RSPCA assured farms in those areas. Fundamentally, the salmon farming life cycle is designed to mimic the wild salmon, but using technology to provide us with harvested salmon 365 days of the year. The life cycle starts in hatcheries.
So we get eggs in from a Mowi broodstock producer. They stay in the hatcheries in a perforated tray. Once they hatch, they fall through into what looks like astroturf, so it's mimicking the natural environment. Once they're just about ready to feed, we transfer them to our fry tanks and we keep growing them on. So after about 30 grams, we vaccinate them. This is just to prevent them from getting any diseases out to sea and make them more a robust, healthy fish. We carry on growing them. We increase the salinity a little bit, just getting them ready to go into sea. And then we transport them when they're about 90 to 100 grams.
They'll come here in the wellboat. Obviously, you put them in, you've got to get to know your fish, gently making sure every fish is getting fed so that it gives them the best possible start. What we're trying to do here is copy what happens in nature. Yes, we've got lots of technology, we've got lots of equipment and everything else, but fundamentally that's just to try and get to try and copy nature as closely as we can. Feed them up till you get to 3 kilos, and that tends to be where you tend to go in and take the bigger ones out. From that point of harvest, they'll get taken back to Mowi, where they'll go through the harvest station and they'll be in the factory ready for processing the next morning.
Here in Rosyth we produce a variety of salmon products. Our salmon comes from the farms of Mowi along the western islands of Scotland. We take the fillets from the chill, we put them through the filleting line, we dehead them, we will then trim them, pinbone them, portion them, pack them, then pick them for dispatch for the customer. Our fresh lines are typically filleted today, packed today and dispatched to our customers today. It can be as quick as 1 hour down the line. I absolutely love salmon. The 2-pack salmon fillet for Sainsbury's, which is 20 minutes in the oven.
So we've got to find a way to grow and grow that we don't affect the environment in a sustainable way. And this is the answer. This is just a fantastic way to do it. I visit the sites a lot, and when you watch the salmon, it looks like it's the right thing to do. The fish look happy, and you can tell from the condition of the fish they're just fantastic. When you come out here and see the end product, yeah, it makes you smile.